Hi everyone, Jasper Basson here. Thank you very much for watching. Today is quite special. I've got Patterson here with me. They've done the Ubuntu 365 days up Table Mountain. Thank you very much for accepting my asking for you to coming with you.
Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure. Good to have you here.
And but I didn't tell him. I just told him I've never been up at Table Mountain. I've never been up the Lion's Head, and I've been staying in Cape Town all my life. I've just been a regular going up Palm Mountain.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's actually quite nice going up with you for the first time.
That's fantastic, and that's just one of the great things and benefits of what I did last year is you're not alone in Cape Town. There's actually many Cape Towns who have never done it, and it's always a great privilege and honor when people choose to do their first climb with me and I get to experience it through your eyes for the first time again.
Well, I'm very excited, and I hope I will make it.
I'm sure you will.
So in the beginning of the walk, we quickly talked about the three charities: Habitat for Humanity, Sunflower Foundation, and
One Heart for Kids.
One Heart for Kids. Will you just quickly explain to us each one and what they do?
Well, Habitat for Humanity was started in America. It's worldwide, and what they do is they work to build housing for obviously people living in shacks. We have such a massive backlog for that they've also started working to make existing shacks warmer, safer and dry.
Why not tables?
So while people are waiting, at least they don't have to come home and scoop water out of their shack when it rains, as an example. One Heart for Kids does really good work as well, building our future by helping under-resourced schools, so some of the poorest schools in the country. The teachers need reading material to help teach the kids to read, and they bring in these internationally acclaimed books which are written in our language and are also culturally sensitive to something. We're not reading about some white kid in Minnesota. So they do fantastic work to improve the literacy rate, which is currently sitting at like 28% at grade 4 level. That's a huge problem. And then the Sunflower Fund, they build a database for blood diseases. Most people know leukemia, which is a pretty rare cancer. And so they work tirelessly to get as many people in South Africa onto that registry, because it's actually it's not just necessarily blood related. In other words, if you have your brother, it won't just necessarily be a donor for you or be a match. And because we have such a diverse background of people that live here, it's very difficult to find matches. We need as many people in all the backgrounds to be on the registry, and that's what they do to help save people from this cancer and 70 other blood diseases.
So I read on various blogs that your whole aim for the charity is to get R1 per climb for every day of the 365 days in the year, and they obviously accumulate to 365 rand for the year, but it's obviously not limited to that amount.
Yeah, I mean, the premise was to show people what we can accomplish when we work together, and that it doesn't take an insane amount of money that you have to donate. 30 rand a month for many South Africans is manageable. And even if you do battle with it, it's like if you can equate it to one coffee that you would have a month that you could sacrifice to give back. And for enough Cape Townians or South Africans or people around the world at that, a small example, 50,000 people per day would raise 1.5 million rand per month. And so the whole point, I like that I can show us that it's not about how much you give, it's just getting involved. And we really can make such a huge difference to so many people's lives and be part of building the country. And I've realized this year that we don't ask plumbers to build the whole house.
Morning.
And so why should we expect the government to be doing all the work? We need to all chip in and we can work together.
I think we, except for rather than complain, rather each of us do one simple thing, and to build a better future for us in South Africa.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we can't help everybody, but everybody can help somebody, you know, and you never know, it might be something small that you can do to help one person, but that one person then might end up creating a company that helps 1,000 people. So, you know, we also sometimes get overwhelmed by how much is needed. But, you know, if we just do a little bit today and, you know, like doing this climb once a day, you know, suddenly it adds up to 365. That's how quickly it is with daily consistent action.
Yeah, I think when I read about this 1 rand per day per climb, and it accumulates to 365 rand and even more, it actually reminds me of being an entrepreneur as well. If you take small daily actions consistently, small daily actions, you can reach beautiful results. And I think that's a lesson for entrepreneurs out there as well. Take your actions, do your daily consistent actions, and to reap beautiful results.
Yeah, and once you start getting into a habit, you know, everyone always asks, how did you keep doing it, or how did you keep the motivation going? But the truth is, once I got past 120 days, then it just became my daily ritual. This is what I did. It was never a thought of like, oh, you know, I've got to go to the mountain. There were a couple of days when the weather was really bad, but you know, once you can break through and not stop, it makes so much higher when you keep going. Those little things. And as an entrepreneur, you're also, you don't have weekdays and weekends. You know, you're working all the time. Your brain is always thinking. So if you can find a way that you can just channel that, and even do like 20 minutes a day, you'll be amazed at how quickly that does.
Well, we're on top. Thank you very much.
Well done.
Thank you.
How was your experience of getting out to
It
the
was awesome. It was a really nice walk. And yeah, I'm actually looking forward to go down it as well. Having the view in front of me as well.
That's a very different hike when you go back down.
I can think. But now tell me, I've been here going up and down once. During summer, obviously it was easy, but still every day. And during winter, obviously it's raining, and how did you get through the difficult times? Your body was sore. How did you keep your mind strong?
Well, the interesting thing is summer also brought us challenges with the wind. You know, there were a couple of days where the gusts could get up to 60 to 100 k's an hour. But all of that was taken into account when I had the idea and thought about it. I didn't just ignore what I was going to be doing. So I trained a lot beforehand, in the wind, in the rain, and I was also very fortunate that Cape Union Mark came on board as a sponsor, and so having the right gear, waterproof pants, waterproof jackets, a warm jacket, or waterproof bag, which was actually probably the most essential to keep all my stuff dry, that made it so much easier to keep the motivation going, because the last thing you want to do is be wet and cold. You can actually get hypothermia in like 10 minutes. I carried 2 space blankets in my bag just in case someone gets injured or I get injured and you're sitting and you get cold very quickly. But as soon as I'd gotten through that 120-day mark and I was kind of in the groove of doing it, I was always actually looking forward to the challenge of doing it through winter. And also we were going through a drought, so I was quite happy to do 200 hikes in the rain if it meant our dams were going to get full. But it was, as long as I could kind of start not being in the rain, that always made a big difference for me. I don't know if you play golf. A lot of guys who play golf will say, if you're standing in the clubhouse and it's raining, you're like, oh, do I really want to go out there? But if you're already on the course and you've been playing for 4 or 5 rounds and you're warm, you actually quite enjoy it. So the being warm part was, I think there was about 2 or 3 days where I started wet and I did have a sense of humour failure, and I was miffed and irritated, but the reality is I always knew that this challenge wasn't going to be lasting forever on every specific day, and there was a very important word that I used. I was only doing this for 365 days. And so that also made me appreciate the fact that I was on the mountain when there was an insane amount of water flowing off of here, and getting to see the beauty around me the whole time, and seeing things like water popping out underneath the stair. I got to see and experience things that maybe other people have, or the majority of people haven't got to. So that was how I managed to stick through the cold and the thing, and the sponsorship was a huge help for that.
On the way up, we spoke a lot about you experiencing the mountain. Don't just rush up, and you really experience the mountain, and I think exploring a lot about yourself in the time being here. Is there any tips or any feedback of any 2 little things that you can give us that you've experienced in the mountain?
Well, I think one of the biggest lessons that I've taken away from it is there are certain challenges in our lives that we're never going to conquer them. As an example, if you lose somebody very close to you, that's not something that, like a mountain, you get to the top and you think you've conquered it. But well, guess what? The mountain is still here tomorrow for you to have to climb and to get back to the top. But what doing something like this has taught me is that you learn the skills to persevere, and you know that you will make it today and you will get to the top. And it's finding the beauty along the way. As you said, like, we stopped and we enjoyed it, is so massively important, because otherwise you'll get to 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years and you'll be like, what actually have what do I remember the most? What do I feel proud about? And that's something which I've this last year learned to experience, is to feel more. I got to feel the mountain. I got to feel the experience of being with people who had challenged themselves to climb up with me and who had donated. And I actually got to feel Ubuntu as well. And so it taught me that while it is important to look after yourself first and then others, we are able to incorporate others into our success, which I think is something really important.
And lastly, I've read in a blog that you said when you started this whole journey, a lot of people criticized you, a lot of people were negative about the idea of you pursuing that. And it's the same with being an entrepreneur, when you start a new idea, and a lot of people don't really give you the chance, or when you get to a success, a lot of people will criticize you. Can you give us some thought about any person going through that journey?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very difficult thing when maybe the closest people to you, your loved ones, your friends, a business partner or a coach or someone that you have invested in doesn't agree with what you want to do and tells you not to do it. And for me, it was so soul-destroying that I actually had to drive to the bottom of the mountain 4 days after I'd had the idea, and to just kind of reconnect, stand under the mountain, because I hadn't done it for a long time, and to think about what I was going to do. And my name was written and etched in the bench that I sat on, and I was like, that's ridiculous. So from that moment on, it taught me that because the idea had set my soul on fire, I was so motivated, I was so excited, everything felt so aligned, that I had finally learned to listen more to the voice inside me and my intuition than to the noise and the people around me. I realized that when I had the idea, I had the whole puzzle, and when I was explaining it to people, they were just seeing a piece of the puzzle. So they were comparing this little blue piece to the entire picture, which is really beautiful. So it's difficult to maybe take the criticism and the rejection and the lack of support, But the reality is, the sooner anybody can get to a point where they are their own support, then you will take the next step. And when that next person tells you not to do it, you will see it from their perspective and say, okay, well, based on their journey in their life and with their success and where they are right now, they've never ever thought about doing something like this. As an example, climbing a mountain, it wouldn't fit into their realm of what they would want to achieve. So of course for them it doesn't make sense. But so what did somebody say? You can't ask like a financial guy for spiritual advice. You know what I mean? You got to go and make sure that you ask the right people the right questions, and also be humble to listen to what people have to say. So as an example, I was very grateful that everybody was a little bit scared for me. Like, do you realize there's going to be rain? Do you realize there's going to be snow, wind, all of that? But there was nothing that anybody had ever told me that I hadn't thought of. So if you're going to explore something, you've got to think not just about all the glory, like as an entrepreneur, like, you've got your own business, you can have your own time, but you've also got to look into the aspect of you're never off. You're always constantly working. There is no such thing as 9 to 5. So if you are happy to have the negative and the positive, then go ahead and do it. And then once you have that whole understanding, that gives you a lot more power to listen to your intuition and to your voice and to suggestions and advice that you get from other people.
That's beautiful ideas. Then just lastly, you're on your way to America, well, in a few days.
Yep.
What's your journey about? I think it's 4 months?
I'm going to be there for 4 months. Yeah, I'm very privileged. I met the most incredible woman who really supported me amazingly well from so far away. She flew out from San Francisco 3 times to support me over my 100th event, halfway and then at the end. And obviously we've been doing long distance now for about 18 months, and it's going to be a wonderful opportunity for me to go and spend time with her and actually not do long distance. But also San Francisco is such a progressive part of the world where all the tech companies are there. She's got a phenomenal network that she's built up with the great work that she does. She also builds schools around the world, and everybody has said to her, how can we help Andrew when he gets here? So there's a massively supportive culture in the States, and my first kind of real focus is to write the book on my experiences for last year, because your question that you asked me about how do you actually keep going as an entrepreneur, there's so much more detail that I can give to that and specific moments that I would like to share, that because I still believe that if you learn anything in life, you should share it. So that book is going to be a lovely way for me to also, I think, take stock of what I achieved last year. And I'm going to continue. I've been doing quite a few talks in Cape Town since I started, and so I want to keep doing that at schools there and keep the fundraising going as well. So hopefully I will bring back the equal amount of dollars that I've raised in rands, which is currently sitting at 530,000 rand. It'd be awesome to bring back $530,000. And looking forward to kind of sharing with them what my journey's been here, and then also learning from them what are they doing, and then when I come back in June, then I can bring back some of that knowledge.
Lastly, for anybody that wants to assist with the charity, want to do donations, where can they do that?
They can simply go to www.365climbs.com, and that's on the Backer Buddy website. That'll take them there, and that's still going to be open, and those donations will continue to be shared to the 3 charities.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you so much for joining and coming on what has been a pretty epic day.
It was a great, blessed with a beautiful day.
Beautiful day.
And invite to you as well, when you come back, please, I want to share my mountain with you as well.
I know, I've been here for 13 years and I've never done Pole Rock, so when I come back in June I'll definitely be in touch, and I'll get to experience it.
We can do a new interview and can do one of all your experiences.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.